everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Alberta Founders Podcast. Woohoo! We made it to the second one. Today, we have Tamara with us as our guest. She was actually my colleague in Alberta Catalyzer Cohort 18, and we both graduated from that program early December. And now Tamara has gladly accepted my request to join us on the second episode of Alberta Founders Podcast. So welcome, Tamara. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to be here, I guess.
So Tamara, can you explain to the students and the first-time founders watching this, what exactly is it that you do in your business and who do you serve as a market?
We are a platform that generates technical drawings of fences and gates, and we mainly work with commercial fence companies, but also specifiers like architects, landscape architects, those kinds of people. So instead of having to open up CAD and spend 4 hours drawing your fence, you fill in a form and it generates a drawing based on your specification options.
Wow. Okay. So you would be making drawings through CAD, or you would just send it like by yourself?
How it actually we build the drawings into our system. So some of our drawing generators have hundreds of different options, and then based on the variables and combinations that people choose, it generates a drawing on a drawing sheet with a title block and everything, something that you can submit to an architect or an engineer, like what they would call in the industry a shop drawing. And it generates it. They don't have to open CAD, they don't have to know CAD, they don't have to own CAD, they just fill in a form.
That's wonderful. Wow. That's definitely a revolution that's happening, because I know folks spent hours understanding that CAD software and learning the drawings and see which software and how to make a straight line and not make a crooked line, how to add colors and all that. And yeah,
exactly. I mean, I've been drawing for 30 years. So I started in high school learning technical drawing, and then I went to college and I did construction drawing, and then I learned CAD and stuff. And it's a long process, and we've just taken all of that learning curve out of the equation, and you just fill in a form.
Wow, that is wonderful. Well, speaking of easy, the next question is, what's the one thing that annoys you the most in your business at this point? Is it talking to customers or emailing them or doing social media ads or learning about AI, or what is it, one thing that annoys you the most in your business right now?
I think the most difficult thing in the early stages is being able to prioritize things and having enough time to get to everything, because there's a million things that have to get done, and you have to try and figure out which one is the most important one today. Which hat am I going to put on today? Am I the marketer? Am I doing the, cold calling? Am I writing code? What am I doing today? So it's just like, I think being able to figure out what's the most important thing right now is probably, I wouldn't say annoying, but it's the most difficult thing.
No, exactly. I've heard that everyone wears multiple hats. Your sales guy one day, you have to be the web developer the next day, and then you are the marketing guy the day after. So now, next one is, which specific problem that you just mentioned, which one of them would you like to magically disappear one day? Like, you wouldn't like to have this problem next and just disappears by itself.
I mean, like, I like the variety. I've always described myself as a human Swiss Army knife. I like learning how to do new things. I like figuring stuff out. I like every day being different. But it would be nice if there was people that I could delegate things to, the boring stuff that I don't want to learn how to do this. I just want to, somebody else take care of that for me. So I'd say, the boring stuff. I've never liked filing. I've never liked, the admin side of things. But if I can innovate and create something new and whatever, that's fantastic. But, business is both sides. You got to have the boring and the exciting. And I would definitely say, get rid of the boring.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is something that students and early stage founders should understand. It's not a one day thing. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. You have to do it every single day. And specifically for folks who just get high one day, I'll be a business fan, and next day they forget about it.
And a lot of it is very unglamorous. You see all the stuff about startups and all these events and things that people go to and all that. And that's like such a tiny fraction of the reality of it, So if you think that's what it's going to be like, it's not.
Oh yeah, the private jets and the Lamborghinis and flashy Instagram photos. Yeah,
Exactly. All of that. And that's what you're told, right? You read all these founder stories about how they created this app in a weekend, and then on Monday they had 10,000 users and stuff. That's not how it really is. Nope.
yeah. No, that's why we have this podcast, to make sure that people understand we are human beings who are trying and moving ahead as well. So if they want, they can persist, and with discipline, they can move ahead as well. So
yeah,
absolutely. Okay. Now the next one is, do you as a founder have the shiny object syndrome, or you don't have it? Shiny object syndrome, for those who don't know, is something where you always want to start something new. You want to make a new application. You want to make a new code. You want to start a new marketing thing. And as founders, we always suffer from this syndrome. So do you have that, or do you don't have that?
I think sometimes I do. Like, when I have a new idea and it's something that I'm excited about, I always want to try. And that's actually how this whole thing started. I had an idea. I was using a legal form generator online, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe you could use this to do drawings based on input parameters and whatever, the same way the legal forms work. And I spoke to my husband about it, and he was like, okay, and 3 days later I had a prototype built, and then he was like, oh, okay, you can do this. And then we were like, okay, well, maybe we should do this. And that's how it all started. So It started with shiny objects, but we've stuck to it.
No, that's good. Yeah. And I have this shiny object syndrome myself. I've got like multiple apps made. I'm like, I have to understand how to sell it now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the tricky part, right? There's that movie, and they always talk about it, Field of Dreams, where they say if you build it, they will come. It can be the best thing in the world, but people need to know it exists.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Nobody's going to just look into your house and like, oh, Hem's made this app, or Tamara made this app, let's buy it. I'm like, haha, doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got to get into their heads and get them thinking about it. And that's a lot of when we actually do marketing and stuff like that. We're not trying to make the sale on the day. We want people to know it exists. So on the day that they need the thing that we do, they know where to find us, and that's been working so far. So
absolutely. And that is completely different. That's funnel building that most people don't understand. You have to go step by step. It's sequencing. You can't just find random people, hey, buy my stuff and pay me right now.
Yeah.
Don't you dare refuse me.
No hard selling. Just tell them it's there, and then one day they'll sell themselves. So
no, absolutely. Yeah. Now, the next one is, what's the most mentally exhausting part of your business? Because they just see the shiny company, they see all the glamour, but they don't see the mentally exhausting part.
I mean, I think just the planning for all of this stuff, like some of our drawing generators have hundreds of different drawings that generate based on 10 different variables and combinations and stuff like that. So we've got to do these massive spreadsheets about, if this person, if you select this, and this, it'll give you that drawing. If you select those options, it'll give you that one. And so there's so much thinking that goes into it. And because we want to do a done for them solution, we really are thinking for people. We're making it, I like to tell people it's as easy as falling off a log. You don't have to know anything about anything. You just click some buttons and it's done. And it's so easy because we've done the hard stuff already. So, and people don't see that. When you're doing a drawing in 2 minutes versus 4 hours, you think, oh, this is cool. But it's to get there. That's the trick.
Wow, that is really hard. Like, done for you drawings, that is a really hard thing to do. Like, you have to get all the things made already so the system can identify what's preloaded, if I'm not wrong, and then they would be giving some kind of an image to them. Is that right?
Yeah. It gives them the image, it writes the specification based on what they've selected. There's a whole lot. Right. Basically, everything is custom code that's put together with all these hundreds of drawings that are done in 1-to-1 scale in CAD. So It's crazy the amount of work that goes into building them. But it's also really fun when they work and they do amazing things and you get 3 sheets of different views and stuff from one form. It's really fun.
Wow. And you actually draw every single one of those drawings that's coded in that software. Okay. Wow.
Every single one. Yeah. So like we do, like I said, hundreds, so different heights and different widths and different hardware options and things like that. And they all have these like coded names in the system. And then the PHP code that we write pulls those drawings from the system. And it's kind of like magic, but it's really fun.
No, and then you have to decide where do you host this thing and how do you put a licensing in the beginning? How do you add usernames and passwords so nobody just steals it? And how do you hide the code? So, because there's this setting where they can do inspect on Google Chrome or whatever. You see the whole network thing over there. They shouldn't steal the codes from there. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, and then also like we do naming conventions for our drawings. So you can't go and look up a drawing online and like 6 foot with barbed wire or whatever. It's got like 6... BWO, CL, whatever, like there's a code for it. So unless you know what those codes are, you can't find our drawings on the internet, even if they've been indexed. So,
wow. No, that's the hard part that no one sees, right? They're like, oh, it's just a code. I'm like, try it, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's why no one's done it before.
Oh,
that's why we're the first ones to do it.
Wow. And when you're down in the trenches making every single code and drawing and adding them to your database, what is the one thing that gives you that teeny tiny bit of happiness? You're like, oh, this is so much work. Do you get an ice cream? Do you watch a TV show? Or do you go for a walk? Like, what is it?
Like, for me, I'm a big nerd, so I really like this stuff. You know, I get very excited when stuff works. And, I have these ideas and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could do that. And then it works. And I'm like so super excited about it. But I mean, aside from that, I'm a writer as well, so I like to write, and that's a whole different side of your brain that you're using, right? So, yeah, I spend too much time in front of the computer, I think.
So there's no pet peeve. You don't just go to get an ice cream or go for a walk or something of that sort.
I go to the gym. Lately I've been going to the gym, and I've challenged myself to cycle as fast as I can. And I listen to angry 90s rock music. And I mean, it's good for you, right?
No, absolutely. Wow. No, gym is good for like the blood's pumping and you're in that zone. No, absolutely. Yeah.
And it gives you a break from thinking.
Yeah, and like what I do is I usually go to the punching bag. I'm like, there's a punching bag in the gym that I go to. I'm like, just go at it.
Yeah. Whatever works, right?
Yeah, then I get an ice cream and then I go back to coding. So
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Next one is what was one thing that you thought would be very easy in the beginning, but when you actually did it was way harder than you expected?
I think everyone underestimates how hard it is to sell something. Like, sales is the hardest thing in the world. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just really not very good at it. But I find it really difficult to ask people to buy what I'm selling. You know, there's a different mindset involved. You know, I like helping people. I like solving problems and things like that. But that kind of forceful part of the sales process, I'm not very good at, but I'm working on it.
No, absolutely. And this needs some kind of repertoire. They have this specific demeanor about them, these closers that are in the market. They're like, oh, what would you think about that? Would you like this? Would you like that? And like, you need to train yourself to become like, you're not born that way. You have to learn and practice and do it again and again and again. And nobody really prepares you for that sort of thing. Like, you made the product. Now what?
Exactly. And sometimes you talk to people and they just get it immediately. And then sometimes, there's other people who are like, they need a little more work. And that's the part that's really the trick, like, how do you get them to go from flat out no to maybe? And then from maybe to a yes. So that's the part I'm struggling with, but I'm working on it. So.
And the objections that we get, like, oh, I need to talk to my spouse. I'll call you after. Just email it to me, and you'd never hear back for 2 months. So
exactly. Well, I mean, once you get them on a demo and they can see how it works, and then the wheels start turning, and then it's easier. But sometimes just to get to that point is the real trick. So
no, absolutely. So would you like to share what are you doing to get better at sales? Is it a course, or you met a mentor? Like, are you reading a book or something?
I have been watching sales training videos on YouTube, actually. There's a lot of this out there where they talk about all these little tricks that people use. Like I worked with a guy once who used to tell me, because he was a very good salesperson, and he would say that, he'd say to people like, oh, what color were you thinking of getting? So they're already thinking about buying and making the decisions and stuff like that. So yeah. So I've been watching videos, and I've got a few books and stuff like that, and also just talking to people, and seeing what works. And sometimes you just have to fail a lot until you get better.
Resilience is a great part, and then it's an aspect of being an entrepreneur. So you have to do it again and again and again. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got Brian Tracy's books. They have helped me a little bit so far, but
I should check it out. I don't know when I'm going to find time to read, but I could skim it too.
Absolutely. I think they have a video course somewhere on YouTube, but yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, the next part is, what advice would you like to give to students and first-time founders who are watching you and me, who want to do something with their lives, with the entrepreneurial stuff? They are very excited. They've watched their first episode of Shark Tank. They want that private jet lifestyle, but they're in their mom's basement. They don't know what to do with it, and they are just watching this podcast for the first time. What advice would you give to them?
So this is actually something that I've learned over many years. And that is, just because somebody tells you something's not possible, that doesn't mean they're right. Because there's been so many things over the years that I've been like, oh, I think I'm going to try and do that. And everybody was like, oh, you can't do that. How are you going to do that? And then you do it. And, just because people tell you it's hard or you can't do it because of whatever reason or whatever, they don't know. And I think a lot of people are discouraged when people tell them stuff like that, but you'll never know if you don't try. Like years and years ago, I wanted to write a book, and I don't know if you know anything about the publishing industry. It's really hard to get a book published by a traditional publisher. But I thought, okay, I'm going to try it anyway. And I wrote a pitch and I sent it to this publisher, and they were interested and they decided to go with it. And I don't have an English degree or anything like that. So when I started writing, and people were like, oh, you can't be a writer. The people go to university to study that, and they learn these things, and you haven't done any of that stuff, but I've done it now. I mean, I'm a published author. So, just because people say you can't do it doesn't mean they're right.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Because if you never try, how would you know that you can do it or not? Absolutely.
Yeah. And rules are made to be broken. So why not?
No, I like that mindset. Yeah. Like if someone has done it, I can do it too. It's just meandering around the ways and finding your path. So absolutely. And based on that, we come to the next question. What advice, this is a fun one. What advice have you gotten from people so far that always turns on your BS meter? Like, no, that's not advice. That's not going to work in real life.
Oh, jeez. The worst one in the startup world, I think, is when people tell you that you can pitch and secure funding based on an idea. They're like, oh, all you need is a good idea, and then you just got to speak to the investors, and we've been in this for a while now, right? The first thing they're going to say is, what traction do you have? And if you just got to scribble on a piece of paper somewhere, they're going to laugh at you. So, it seems like in the AI world, that's more of a thing where they have these ideas, and I'm going to build this AI thing that does this or whatever. And then people are willing to throw money at it based on an idea. But in everything else, I don't think that applies at all. So don't fall for that.
You need some kind of traction or revenue or some kind of scope that shows that this is manageable, or there's something that's happening, not just you code something and ask for $1 million. Like, hey, I coded, give me 2 million now. So
exactly. And they there's all these videos and stuff where people are saying, oh, you just have to do this, you just have to do that. No, you don't. You have to sell that thing to some people first and get some money and prove that it is an actual business before people are going to want to give you any money. So
exactly. Like investors are human beings. They're not robots. Like they're investing. They want the money out or something. It's a business, right? If nobody's going to pay you, why would they pay back to you? It doesn't make any sense. Okay. That was great, Tamara. We're now in the second part of the podcast, and this one is the rapid fire round. So we would ask you questions, and the expectation is you would be answering back in just 1 or 2 words, whatever comes to your mind immediately. Okay. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One tool that you swear by.
Later.com. I like to automate my social media.
Okay, that's smart. Well, one tool you'd never use again.
PayPal. I'm not a fan.
That's dinosaur. Yeah, PayPal. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
No, they're terrible.
Your favorite book?
Gosh. Actually, I've got one right here. I'm reading right now. Let Them Theory. It's going quite well. It's all about basically just, not stop trying to control everything and just let people think what they want to think about you. So,
wow,
interesting.
That's a good one. Okay, your favorite food?
Curry. Like I know it's weird. I'm from South Africa, but curry is a big thing.
Oh, nice. Okay. What metrics do you check the most in your business?
Google Analytics. I'm obsessed with it. I've even got it on my phone. So,
wow. Okay. One thing that has saved you more than once in your business?
customer service.
Customer service. Okay, wonderful. What's the final word you would like to say to students and founders, first-time founders watching this? Would you like to motivate them? Would you like to say something to them if they're meeting you for the first time?
Again, I think it just goes back to don't let other people tell you what you are capable of doing. Anything that you can, there was a guy, I think he's Carnegie or something like that, or something like one of the old. Yeah, and I think he said, if you can dream, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Mm-hmm. I think it was him that said that. And that's kind of, you have the idea and then you just have to work at it. And then eventually you'll get where you want to go, rinse and repeat. Just don't quit.
Manifestation. Yeah, that comes with repeated actions again and again. Oh, absolutely. Okay, wonderful. That was great, Tamara. Now, final question is, what's next for your business? What should we be looking out for?
Well, we're actually going to be building a ton more drawing generators because we're very much a user-driven platform. So our users tell us what they need us to build. So we're doing that. And we're also, because Fence companies tend to fall flat quite a lot on documentation and project management and stuff like that. And that's actually part of what I wrote the book about in the past, project management and all those kinds of things. We're actually building a whole lot of forms and documents and stuff that work the same way as our drawing generators do, so they can do change order requests and, progress billing and everything from the same platform. So it's going to incorporate other things that aren't drawings. That's just going to make fence companies' lives easier. So we're quite excited about that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, well, that was it for today. Thanks so much for joining us, Tamara, and wishing you all the best for your business. Thanks so much for joining us today.